what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Fearless Perspectives, the podcast. I'm your host, Julia, and as you know, this is where you come to hear what common sense sounds like. You know, y'all know that. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you just found your way here, whether it was from social media or the algorithm, or you know what I'm saying, you was just like, this girl told me she got a podcast. Let me just see what she's talking about. You hear? Thank you. Thank y'all. And of course, always big ups and forever gratefulness to my consistent listeners who tune in every week, who tune in and chime in, like, comment, share, hit me up, let me know, hey Jay, I saw the episode. You said this, and this. I ain't want to, say it out there, but I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate all the engagement. I just ask that you continue to like, comment, share, share the podcast. You know what I'm saying? You definitely aren't the only person who need it. You know what I'm saying? So just thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'm telling you, look, I will always talk about supporting other people because support is free, especially on these platforms. Support is free because all it is taking just your finger or your thumb and going and as they say, mashing that button that says share or comment. Comment on the stuff. I'm telling you, the engagement is what matters. You see what I'm saying? The engagement is what helps push us in the algorithm that'll say, okay, well, this seems like something that's a little bit more, engaging or whatever, or popular. Let's push it more. And then people begin to see, and we're able to reach more people. Okay. So that's all it is. And that's on social media all across all platforms. Just saying you liked it. Oh yeah, that's cool. But engage. Even if you just say, hey, that was a good episode, or whatever you want to do, an emoji, whatever, just engage. It's not hard. That's all you got to do. So that's all I'm just asking everybody to do, not even just for me, but just other your other favorite content creators or friends, or especially your friends, people that you know on social media that you always complain about. Oh, they just post all the time. They want to be seen. Yeah, we do want to be seen. We do, because first of all, some of us have a message that we're trying to get to people, that's been given to us. Or, hey, we are trying to be seen because in this day and time, things are different as far as how you advertise or how you market. These brands and stuff, they're on social media. They have a whole social media team. You see what I'm saying? Where they can be like, okay, well, instead of us having a whole casting call for somebody, let's just see what we have on social media, blah, 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 and go from there. So, yes. Yes. But I just enjoy it. I don't care about, I know what I look like every day. I'm just saying. I know what I look like every day, especially with a fresh haircut, baby. Oh, you. So I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I'll post something like that out there just sometimes for y'all to see my face. Hey, y'all, see my face. And then I'm gone. But I'm trying to get more consistent on my personal page, especially posting more reels and stuff from a different aspect, because I'm not the type of content creator to do like one niche. Like when it was fitness for me, I should have did that, or I could have did that, but it's not. I don't even work out. And then if so I don't have a niche. So I'm all over the place. I'm a Gemini. We be on one thing today, and then we get bored with that or master that, and we on to something else. Like you can't niche me down. You can't. That's why with this show, you can't never niche me down. Anyway, before I get too far into that, let's take a break. Let's take a pause right here. Anytime you watch this show, I want you to pour up and pull up on me. Anytime you watch this show, that's what I want. It can be water, juice, tea, coffee, a cocktail, whatever you choose. Just pour up and pull up on me. That's all. Cause we're gonna sit and we just having a cool ass conversation about some life, about anything. So I got something good in the cup today. Um, that's good. I got I told y'all the other episode about these mimosas I came across. So I found it again. I found the bottle of the mimosa, and so I tried the peach Bellini. Somebody suggested I try the peach Bellini flavor, so I was like, okay, I'll try it. And so when I tried it yesterday, I was like, ooh, it's really sweet. It's missing something. It seems like it needs something to go with it. And so I was like, well, I can drink that, because as you know, with my condition, I don't I don't drink as much. You know what I'm saying? I pull back on drinking and stuff to cut down on the inflammation and everything. But I'm just like, okay, mimosas, they don't bother me. And I don't drink them a lot, but I'm like, they don't bother me, you know? So I was like, but I can drink that. And I was like, yo, it needs something else. So today, before I came upstairs to talk to y'all, ooh, because I'm gonna talk to y'all. I was like, I think it might need a little tequila. And it made it all the better. So cheers. So, anyways, I'm going back to like said supporting on social media, and then we're gonna get into what we got to talk about today. I promise you, it's yeah, we're gonna talk today. Um, but anyway, so support your friends, regardless if it's a niche that, or it's a post or something that's, or content that's not related to you, or something that you can, that you relate to, you still share it. Just still share it. Because the algorithm, I'm telling you now, your algorithm is what you make it anyway. Because we like and we comment and we share posts from a lot of these gossip pages and stuff like that. We are always in somebody else's drama. We're always in somebody else's business. But we always say we mind our own business. But these pages put us in people's business. You see what I'm saying? And we like, comment, and share on it. Cause I know I do. And I be seeing y'all in the comments too. But then when it comes down to the people that our stuff, like I know a lot of people aren't in the podcast. I get that. But the people that are here, y'all are. And I appreciate y'all because y'all like, y'all comment, y'all and share. I appreciate y'all. But I'm saying outside of like me or doing, just people that there's always somebody that that's on social media that you be like, they post all the time. Yes, they are posting. Help them, share it. It's free for you. It's not taking no money out of your pocket. It's not taking no money out of your bank account or household or anything just to like or just to share or something. You know what I'm saying? If you rock with them, especially if it's your friend or somebody you're cool with and you say you're cool with, yeah, share their stuff. I share stuff, like I said, for all the time of my friends who are girly girls, straight girly girls. They do makeup, they do all this stuff, and I'll repost them or I'll comment on their stuff. I'll comment because I'm wanting to help them get that engagement. Because especially when I know that they're content creators and stuff like that. I engage on that. I'm like, yo, I'll compliment them like, friend, I see you, and I be genuine. It ain't like no, I'm just no, and I'm not trying to holler or nothing like that. It's just simply I'm like, yo, let me help promote them. Let me help. You know what I'm saying? Anything. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now with that. But do it for no, I'm not. Do it for the people that you know instead of all these people that you don't know you. We all do it. We love celebrities. We love famous people because they're in the spotlight. But we go to bat for some of them like they pay our bills. They don't even know us. But do it for the people that you know. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm getting off my soapbox. All right? Cool. Thank y'all. All right, y'all. So check this out. So last couple of weeks I was been having conversations with some friends per usual. And so we talk there's a topic that I've always wanted to shy away from on this podcast because I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that. I really don't. I don't want to talk about that. That's already all over everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, all right. Kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And every time I'm like, dang, I don't know what to talk about. I got to come up with a topic. What can I talk about? That will always come to the forefront of my mind. And I'm like, nah, literally. I felt like I was just like, nah, push it back. Nah, we not going to talk about that probably for another couple months. You know what I'm saying? But last couple of weeks, I've been having conversations and situations come up. And I'm like, yo, this is kind of telling me I need to talk about this. And I'm like, it's cliche because, as y'all know, I am a part of the LGBTQ plus community or whatnot. I'm the L baby. I'm the L. I'm at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That's the only L I take, honey. But but I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I jump on bits and pieces in other episodes and let you all know that, hey, yeah, I did grow up in the church. Born and raised Church of God in Christ my whole life. My whole life. Born and raised in the only church I ever went to in my hometown. Never went to any other church until I left Lansing, Michigan, and went to Houston. Then I started going to different churches because I became, start playing as a musician at different churches and stuff like that. But my church home in Michigan was the only church I was at. So even in this episode, I will say, I'm not gonna say no names or anything, but if you were there, if you were around, if you know, and you put things together, then so be it. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to do anything like that. It's my experiences, and whoever was involved in my experiences, they're just involved. That's just how it happened. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not apologizing for anything that I'm going to say, or anything, because again, if there is an issue, if you have my number, you can call me. If not, there's my contact information is in the description. If you have an issue, you want to talk, but I'm not even worried about that because I know people are not going to reach out. And that's not what I'm doing this for or anything like that. But I ain't worried about I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about nothing. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just talking about this because, like I said, lately it's just been really in my face. Um, and I'm just like, okay, because it's heavy on me because I know the call that's on my life. You know what I'm saying? I know what's on my life. So to even have this conversation today, I did a little gardening before this episode. I did, because I was like, yo, I gotta really, ooh wee. And I also said, God, you gotta help me, honey, because because this. But anyway, so a lot of us know, like I said, I grew up in church and born and raised in church, love God, played drums at church, was came up in a different era than this generation, this younger generation. I'm a millennial, so even the generation after the millennials, now I'll say even some of the younger millennials, they're to me they're still a different generation because their experiences in our age brackets are just so drastic. So you know what I'm saying? Um, it's like I wish I came up in that era, kind of the later uh part of the millennials and stuff like that, because there was just so much understanding. There was so much grace, I would say. I'm a 80s baby, okay? 80s baby, but came up in the 90s. I always say that because I love everything 90s. I love everything 90s. But growing up in church was different then. So a lot of people will say, you know, oh, Julia, how was it for you coming up in church? Everybody that I meet, is always like, how was it for you coming out or growing up in church, you know, being who you are, being a lesbian? I said, it was cool for me because I had to hide it. I hid it as best as I could. A lot of people probably probably try to figure it out and things like that. I fought a lot of things. It was just like, no, this is not who I'm supposed to be. This is not, but I knew at a young age, very young age, that I was attracted to women. I knew at a very young age. And so even then I was just like still not understanding what I was experiencing or what I was feeling or anything like that. Um, because I didn't I didn't know any woman that was gay at that young age. Nobody I didn't know of. um and only person I knew of one person that was gay in my family. And it was crazy because even the talk amongst the family, whenever they would say so and so is gay, they put such a negative connotation on it. So in my mind, I didn't even know what gay was. but I knew it was bad. It was like negative, just it was they don't like that family member because they're this. So once I got a little older and I started really learning what gay was, I was like, whoa, I definitely can't say anything because of how my family members have, just how they even say that word, Now, granted, this was late 80s, 90s, all of the 90s. So again, this is a different time. So I'm still taking things in, and I'm just like, dang, So even when I was in high school, I was a tomboy. I was just really I've always dressed just tomboyish. I was a tomboy growing up, but the way I dressed, I liked wearing boy clothes more. I didn't like wearing girl clothes. I hated wearing dresses. I hated when my mom put me in those lace. I always used to say they were itchy. They itch, they itch. Lace like tights and stuff. I hated all of that. She kept us dressed nice. Now my mama kept us sharp, honey. But I didn't like it. I hated it, but whatever. So I wanted to be in pants and jeans and I've always been like captivated by menswear. Like at church, the men, I would look at their suits and how they fit. I didn't care about the women's dresses and nothing. I was just like, yo, they're man, they clean. It's a nice suit. He gets to wear pants. And his pants is creased and nice shoes and just a shirt and a tie and all. I was just always like, man, they look nice. And the women I would see, I'm like, they all had on regular dresses, church dresses or church suits with all the rhinestones, and I wasn't into that. Didn't like none of that. And I was just like, man, so I was just always like taken to the men's fashion. And so again, and I started playing drums at church, so I was a musician. So a lot of people were like, "How was that?" Like when they again, I I just I played the part. Played the part. All right. So I had to. And because my main thing was I didn't want to, there were so many different factors. First of all, I was scared because I was like, I'm not supposed to be this way. You know what I'm saying? And the conversation we're having right now, I'm just letting y'all know I'm taking everything off of the table. That's why I had to do some gardening before I did this episode. Because I'm like, I just really want to, I'm really chill. This is like I tell people all the time, let me do some gardening before you have a serious conversation with me. Cause this is how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be real chill. I'm not, first of all, in real life, I'm not even gonna argue with you. I'm not arguing with nobody. Child, you can have it. Um, but if you ever want to just have a chill, let me do a little gardening and we'll be all right. So we're taking everything off the table. We're taking politics off the table. We're taking religion or whatever your belief is. We're taking all of that off the table, and we're just having a conversation about a human experience. That's it. That's it. That is it. I don't care what you believe. I don't care how you believe. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm telling you, like, really, I don't care. And you'll learn more and more why I don't care. Okay. Anyway, so in church, I played the part. In life, I played the part because back then I did it was a different time. Now our parents have a little understanding because it's more so my generation that are now the middle-aged parents, the parents that came up with understanding that developed understanding. We're millennials. I think we're like one of the coolest generations ever. I don't care what nobody say. Huh, much stuff as we've gone through, world events that man, please, we've gone through all of them, all of them. So we have understanding, we have compassion for the most part. So we're taking all of that stuff off the table. Politics, whatever you stand, taking all that. I grew up in church, played drums, had to play the part, had to play the straight girl part. I did have a boyfriend. I had a boyfriend I had a couple boyfriends actually, not at the same time, but I had a couple boyfriends in high school, and and then the most one everybody knew was, um, God rest his soul, Lawrence Leathers, my last boyfriend in high school. He was also a drummer, and we ended up breaking up. I broke up with him. After we graduated high school because we only dated our senior year. But I really did. I really liked him, and it was so crazy. Everybody was shocked because because it was he was just he was also a class clown. Like, dude, like we still laugh at half of the stuff he did to this day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I liked him, and and I tried to, like I said, I tried to play the straight part, but I ended up breaking up because I was like, I know like what I really like. I don't know how this is gonna go for me, but this is what I really like. And I wasn't into hurting anybody because I always knew, especially when I got into my late 20s, I really knew. I was like, you always talk about, you're going to get married and have children. And that was what I said. I didn't want none of that. I didn't want to get married to no man. I didn't want to have no children. Baby, no. I didn't want any kids. I did not. I didn't want to give birth. I didn't want to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to do that. That ain't for me. Children tear your body up. All that. And I mean, God bless y'all. Like I give it up to all the moms, but I just knew I didn't want any children. I didn't want that life. And I didn't want to drag anybody along like, DL men do women. They play that part and they go the distance. I know some women that are DL as well, that have done that too. But child, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't. Oh, ooh, because I already knew I was going to get divorced because I was going to end up cheating on him, my husband, whoever I just married. I knew I was going to end up cheating on him with a woman. Not enough. I knew. So that's why I was like, I'm not even doing this. I'm not. I'm just going to be single. I'm just going to say, I don't know anybody. I don't. But I tried dating most of the guys that I kind of did like. They seemed gay. That should have told everybody that, You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, no. And then I was just like, nah, I'm good. So it's crazy. So in church, anyway, and I'm gonna wrap something back into that. About trying to like somebody. So in church, I didn't say anything. I didn't. I tried to keep it cool because I was just like, I play drums and drums. I've been playing drums since I was like 3 or 4. So drums was life. You know what I'm saying? So I went to a church, it was a family church. And so I started playing there, was used, for the youth choir and all that other stuff. Then the senior choir, then became head drummer and all of that. So I was heavily involved in my church. I've my whole life, heavily involved. And so when people were like, how was that, for you? And I'm like, ooh, it was hard because we had some women in that church, okay, that came through there, you know? And I used to be like, golly, okay, I gotta play these drums. I gotta keep it cool. I gotta keep it cool. I gotta keep it cool because I don't want nobody to say anything or whatever, and I can't play drums. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, it was a different time, so of course, nobody had any understanding. However, it was always cool for, like I said, and I will say, and it still is. It's always cool for the guys to be a little flamboyant, as they called it, or to be, just yeah. But women, no, mm-mm, mm-mm. We couldn't be this. We couldn't be. Oh, you wear too many, dress pants, suits, and stuff like that. We couldn't. No, mm-mm. Without somebody saying, oh, you know she a bull, yeah, yeah. We couldn't do that, back then. And I didn't have anybody that, you know what I'm saying, that I could kind of look up to. But then it was crazy because as I was in church and I was in my 20s, when, I started really kind of realizing like, yo, this is kind of this is it. Who we I'm not marrying no man. That's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna be single. I'm just gonna be single. Everybody's single. I have single aunts and uncles. I have, at that time I was like, yeah, come on, yeah, that's single. A lot of uncles that are single. I'm cool. I can just be single. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be cool and nobody know, but I have a little friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already had it, like, and it was crazy because in my hometown, like, a lot of people be like, yo, so you didn't do nothing. You didn't really start doing much until you moved to Houston. No, I was doing stuff in Lansing, but I had to keep my shit low key because I was a drummer at the church. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. We about to get into some shit. So my experiences are different than most people that I know that are in the lifestyle, and that have been this, gay or straight or gay, lesbian, or if, for their whole majority of their life, because we have different experiences. Because I personally, I didn't come out then. I didn't. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gay, or this is how I am, and I wasn't. No, heck no. But I kept my stuff on the low, baby. Yeah, there was like one situation some people might knew about, like my very first girlfriend, when I was in Lansing. Excuse me, and that was crazy because it's like she was straight. She was a straight woman. Oh God, yeah, turned her out. Godly, and I was young. She was older than me. Mm. I've always dated older women. I've always been attracted to women that were older than me. So like now, and it wasn't until I moved to Atlanta that I actually started dating women that were a little younger than me or younger. And I was always opposed to it, and now I'm still am. I'm not going no more than 3 years younger than me. I'm not doing it, no damn more. But anyway, I was always attracted to older women, whatever. I had, a couple crushes also. Women at the church. And, what I'm saying, when I was growing. This is wild. This is really wild. But anyway, so going on through all of that, I had to keep my stuff low key, keep it low key. Um, you know, and it was crazy because it was one person that I became really, 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 really close with, that people thought that we were together. And I was like, no, we're not, but I found out later on in life. Matter of fact, when I moved to here, yeah, when I moved to Georgia, I found out so much about what was being said about me back then, me and this person, and how they were trying to protect that person from me. So that's what I'm saying. My experience is now I'm learning certain things, like once you become more aware and you heal and you are just more exposed to some real shit, then you start to look back and be like, yo, my experience was real jacked up, and y'all really had me fucked up, and y'all tried to do this, and y'all really misused me in so many damn ways. You really had an effect. Like a lot of times we'll be like, how was your experience? Did you have a bad experience in church? And a lot of times we think about, you were, um touched wrong or something like that. No, like I was really mishandled in so many ways there. When in so many ways, and it was crazy because it all came from this same damn person every damn time. And it was crazy because I was a musician and I had to work under this person. But this person has had affected so much of my life that I didn't even realize until I got grown, like recent grown, and had to deal with some shit because of how I was handled, and then learning what was said about me back then. But you wouldn't dare say the shit to my face then. You act like I was cool, everything was everything, but then you're telling people about my old best friend, we don't want her around Julia because we don't want her to be gay. And that was coming from the choir director at the time, or the the minister of music's wife or whatever. Like, what? Because, sweetheart, I thought you were gay, but then whatever, I don't know. Like, are you serious? Like, that was my best friend, like for real, for real. So it was crazy. So when I hear about that, and I'm like, but y'all was still in my face, and he told Julia the drummer, you play them drums, you so da 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 da. And I'm thinking y'all cool with me, but now I'm like, nah, fuck y'all. Because at the same time, like, yo, I don't deal with, when I go home, I do not deal with half of them people at the church. Like, if I went to church and I don't go there would never step foot in that motherfucker again. Like, I'm serious. I'm sorry if that offended anybody, but that building, I would never step foot in that building again. Especially now that I'm so glad my parents left that church finally. You know what I'm saying? But no, I would never step foot in there. Never. Never. I don't care who the damn pastor and who came back to pastor. I would never step foot in there ever again. Because I'm like, yo, y'all all was some fucking clowns. Y'all all were some damn ass clowns. Y'all was so worried about what I was doing or messing with, no, we were cool. But then you was sleeping around on your wife, fucking around on her, doing, conniving evil ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's the church experience that I had. Yeah. Yeah. And shit started coming to light as I left or as I, moved away and yeah. Even before I moved away, stuff started coming. You know what I'm saying? So yes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was crazy because that caused me to continue to keep who I am inside. That's where I'm getting to. My coming out story was different. And I've learned that there's other situations that I'm glad I didn't say who I was or come out or anything like that, because I definitely wouldn't have been able to play the drums. I definitely would have been sat down. I definitely would have been talked to and going through prayers of deliverance. I did all that already. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell people, like, yo, when it comes down to addressing gay, lesbians, bis, and whoever they are, like, just treat them, please, just treat them as normal human beings, because that's what we are. Because you don't know what all we had to hold in or what we are holding in and how long we had to hold things in and what it has caused us to become, because we couldn't be who we were. We couldn't say who we were. So that builds up a lot. So that's why I say, like, these kids now, I'm grateful. I'll say now to you, I appreciate the parents that are like, you know what, my son said he was gay. He might be gay or whatever, or he's this way or whatever. That's still my son. I love him. I don't care. That's how it should be. That's my daughter. I don't care. That's how it should be. I don't care. I don't care what your belief is. I don't care any of that. It's your child. That is your child. Regardless if they're young or old, that's your child. So you're going to dispose them. And that's how I felt back then. Like, oh, I can't say nothing because both my parents are ministers, and, this and this, and my mom on a prophetic team. And oh man, and I was just I was more concerned about them and everything like that. And so I was like, I don't want to shame them. I don't want to shame them. I don't want to bring shame to them, because, because I'm a protective person in general anyway, especially of my family. And I definitely don't play behind my parents. So I was just like, okay, I don't want to do that. Nah, I'm just gonna chill and, whatever. And I didn't say anything. But I knew that people knew. Like, I learned as I got older that, like, man, people knew. People knew who I was. People knew what I was, rather. I don't care how feminine I tried to be or look, you know what I'm saying? Because sis had hair. Don't think I look good now. I was a pretty, if I really wanted to fem it up, oh, baby, I could. And can walk in heels. Honey, stop playing. Like, so I was, child, please. When I was trying to play the straight role, she looked good. I'm talking about long silky hair. Because I got nice hair. Long silky hair. That stayed done. That I did. I took care. As I said, I take care of my hair. Listen. But I was just like, and then I was like, after a while, I was like, man, forget these clothes, dog. I'm going back to, like, what's comfortable for me. The people knew. I experienced so much stuff in church, like pastors' wives approaching me at jurisdictional meetings. Compliment. This is just how you compliment. He's playing. You look at me up and down and, like, what's up? I was young and green and blind to a lot of things. Some of them I knew that they were like flirting. Some of them I was like, they walked away like, wait, what they? But yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, so my story is different because I'm like, yo, I always had to feel like I had to hold in and guard myself and protect myself from so much because of, who I am. And what I was trying to fight and everything like that. So I said, I'm just saying like, yo, this whole situation is like I've been having people talk to me just out of nowhere. So how was it for you coming out? I'm like, why are you asking me that? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not something I talk about. I don't talk about that. I don't talk about church. I don't talk about my experiences there. I don't talk about none of that. As most people just know me as the drummer from there. That's it. And that's cool. And that's how I like it because I'm like my business was my business. And I had some business. I did. And it wasn't even there. It wasn't nobody there that I like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, or dealt with. No, it was always outside of the church, but I kept it low key, very low key. But it's just I just knew I couldn't, be like, okay, this is, what it is. But it was crazy because there were other women in the church who were married. I'm talking about married down. And they were hardcore. I mean, they were hard. And I'm like, y'all worried about me, but what about these hoes over here? That's all they do is be together. Y'all worried about me? Y'all worried about me, but this lady over here coming here stomping harder than her husband. But y'all worried about me? Oh, because she's married. Oh, okay, because she's married with kids. Oh, because they've been married forever. Oh, but you see what I'm saying? It's the bullshit like that I just be like, and it's not and I'm not even saying it's just church. It's just the world, period. If I was not even in church and if I was out and I was, same that way, like just real, I call it dogmatic, real hard. But I was married to a guy. When nobody say nothing, they'll be like, "Oh no, she can't be gay. She married. Shit." Like that little me, like that video. That little bullshit. What? But it was crazy because that's how it was viewed back then. Is oh, they're married, they have children, they're not gay. But now, what I know now, get the fuck out of here. You knew that motherfucker was married when y'all got married. I mean, was gay when y'all got married. Stop playing. And that was a thing, especially for dudes to marry back then. It was a thing for men to marry to kill the gay rumors. Oh, he's gay. No, he's married. But he's still fucking around with in the basement. That's everybody. Me and my friend was just talking about that. She was talking about her uncle. He grew up on the East Coast. She was talking about all that shit. And she was like getting down in the basement, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, that was how, because we grew up in the North. We had basements. That's where kickbacks took place. Kickbacks didn't take place on the main level of the house in the dining room and kitchen. Them kickbacks took place in the basement. Every time you had a gathering downstairs. And whatever went down downstairs went down downstairs. So I'm just saying, like, so I'm like, yo, so back then it was the thing of like, oh, they're married, so now they're not gay. Mm-mm. But you accept the man in the church who can sing very well, who's very flamboyant. I'm talking about the hair beautician. I mean, the church beautician, honey. All of them, multiple. Oh, he does hair very well, but he's, no, and he sings very well. He sings, oh my God. He shuts the church down. That boy was gay. But y'all ain't say nothing. Y'all still let him, and this was in the 90s. So I'm in high school when this is going on. I was like, that dude gay. Okay. And my gaydar and I realized my gaydar as a young person, and when I look back, it was never wrong. It was never wrong. It was never wrong. Every woman in there that I thought was gay, she is gay. Whether she's married still, she is gay. Like, and I'll be like, and that's fine. I'm not saying everybody has to come out. And that's what I don't want nobody to feel like, are you just trying to make everybody come out and everybody not ready? It's first of all, it's 2025. Be the hell who you are. Hey, it makes no sense for anybody to just, I get it. Your friends may not accept you and this, and that. They make your friends then. Whoever can't accept you for whoever you are, because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's the straight people that sexualize everything that we do as gays and straights. I mean, as gays and lesbians, and bi and transgender. Y'all the ones who sexualize everything. We ain't worried about what you do and how you get down in your bedroom. I really don't care. I think it's boring. I think it's boring, but yeah, y'all enjoy it and that's what you like. But I don't think about that shit when I see a straight woman or a straight man or anything. I'm like, I wonder what they be doing, how they be getting down. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't. I don't care. Are you a good person? Do we vibe? Can I talk to you and have intellectual ass conversations or not? Or are you crazy and your mind is chewed up? And you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's what I think about. Do I think about like, hey, can we have a good time? Can I feel safe around this person? Or, or is this person gonna think I'm trying to talk to her or whatever? Just because I'm gay. First of all, I have preferences and I have standards and I have types. A lot of y'all not it. So we good. And plus two, even I don't care if you were all of that. I respect things. When you say you straight, I respect that. You say you married, I don't care if you gay or straight. I respect that. That's it. The only thing we can be is cool or friends or, acquaintances or anything like that. That's the only thing we could do. And that's just dealing with me. Everybody is not like that. And I get that. But when you around me, I'm the coolest ass person in the world. I tell dudes like, yo, you cool with your girl around me. I promise you cool with her around me. Now, you might want to check her. Because first of all, I'm protective. So of course dude, we out somewhere. I'm gonna make sure she cool. I'm like that with all my friends. Period. If you got an issue, you might want to check her. Check your wife. Check your girl. Don't check me. I'm cool. Girls, ladies, women, yo dude cool around me. He good. Meaning, nah, we ain't trying to. But if I know that he's in a relationship, we cool. Dude, I don't care if I see my homeboy looking at somebody like, I'm like, yeah, your girl gonna whoop your ass. You might, and we laugh about it, but that's my way of like, hey, especially if it's a healthy situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's some shit, yeah, they don't care. They doing whatever. I don't care. Cause like I tell people, I respect your relationship as much as you do. And that's not just if a woman is in a relationship and she's trying to talk to me or anything like that. Cause I tell people, I'm like, y'all, I'm single. I respect your relationship as much as you do. I don't have nothing, I don't have no ties to like, I gotta do right. If you don't want to do right, you want to go get some drinks. It depends. We might. Cause but I usually don't do that because I believe in reaping and sowing. So I try to do right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, so anyway, so my whole situation, like I said, is different because I couldn't say who I was because the world was different. Now, like I said, we have more understanding, a little bit more grace. And, you still have people that are stuck in their ways that are like, yo, just get off of that subject in church. Get off of that. Because the more you harp on it, the more I'm starting to question you. Like, what, you mad because you can't, because of your position, pastor, that you can't be who you really want to, but so you're doing stuff on the low and it's still getting out, sweetheart. The gay community is, it's a lot of us, but baby, church gays especially, baby, this is a small community. So we gonna know. But me, I know a lot of shit. I just don't say nothing. I know a lot. Seen a lot. Just don't say nothing. But anyway, so my experiences were different to the point to where, like I said, I didn't come out to my parents. I didn't come out to my parents. And I didn't come out to my parents till later on in life because of how I was forced to feel in church because I was like, again, I didn't want to shame them. I didn't want them. And then two, mainly, now let's say mainly first and foremost, I didn't want to hear, well, you know what the Bible says about this and this. Yes, I know. Yes, I've tried to get prayer for deliverance. Yes, I've tried to abstain from all of that, but that shit was still what it was. And I know that there are people that get delivered from the lifestyle and this and this and this, and y'all favorite content person, she still, I will say, still given the right opportunity, I think she'll still do it. But anyway, y'all do what y'all want with that. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I didn't come out, and I didn't, and it wasn't until me and my boy during the pandemic, we were doing like a Facebook live show or whatever. He's gay, and that was my best friend and everything. And so we were doing a show, and all my friends and my siblings knew that I was out. They knew, but I had never had that conversation with my parents. And the last thing I wanted my parents to know is to find out that their daughter, or confirm that their daughter was a lesbian, was on Facebook. I didn't want that. I always told people. That's why people are like, well, you don't be posting and that, because I wouldn't post certain things on my page that confirmed my sexuality, because I was like, I don't want them to find out through social media. I want us to have a conversation. I had so many opportunities to have that conversation. I would always go home to visit and be like, yeah, I want to have the conversation. And the opportunity never presented itself, to be honest with you, because there was always somebody at the house, or we were always out and about doing something. And so it was never a time where I could be like, yeah, can I talk to y'all? Like, because I thought it was going to need to be a big formal conversation, and it didn't need to be. You know what I'm saying? Because, when I told my siblings, I told my siblings like 2012, 11, 12 or something like that. And they was like, okay, we know. Like, you know what I'm saying? My brother was like, so you still my sis? I remember that. I'm on the phone crying hard to my sister because I'm the middle child. So my big sis opinion is everything. So I'm just like, just crying. And she was like, and I was like, this is who I am. And I just don't know. She was like, okay. And she was like, Joe, we knew. Like, I was like, she was like, what you do today? I was like, I did all of that, and you know what I'm saying? So everybody that I told in my family, they was like, Jill, even some of my older cousins, they was like, Jay, we knew. We knew. We knew. Like, we was just waiting on you. So a lot of times I tell people, and I'm telling people this now, you may think you're hiding a lot of stuff from people. I have a couple of friends that I'd be like, I just really wish you would just come out. Come on, stop it. Just stop it. Because you're doing the same thing I did, and thinking nobody sees you or nobody knows. They know. They know. Come on. They know. They know. And it's okay. If they ain't taking care of you financially, if they ain't feeding you, like my boy said at 3Fs, if they ain't uh, feeding you, fucking you, or financing you, they ain't got nothing to say to you. And y'all know me. My favorite motto is FTP, fuck them people. And it took a while for me to get there. But I did used to care about what people thought. I'm like, I don't want them to know. I don't want, because maybe they don't want to talk to me anymore. Maybe they won't, call me for, to come play anymore. And that's fine. And that may happen. Yes, it may have had happened. But I just, I wasn't supposed to be there anyway. They weren't supposed to be in my life. Because I am who I am. Like, I don't walk in the door and be like, I'm gay and, I'm here for a job. No, I show up with my experience. I show up with my knowledge. I show up with that. Yes, when I walk in a room now, you know exactly what time it is. So that's why I appreciate women that talk to me, because I'm like, when I walk in the room, it's not, I'm not a femme, or I'm not a feminine woman that can be straight passing. No, when I walk in the room, you know what time it is. But if you still take the time out, that's why I love my straight female friends or women friends rather, because I'm like, you knew what time it was when you saw me or when we became cool or whatever, but you didn't feel weird. You know what I'm saying? You didn't make me feel weird. You didn't. It's everything. So listen, y'all. I'm just saying, like, this whole conversation is, there are things that I went through that caused me to kind of, to have the later in life coming out. So real quick, coming out, we was on a Facebook live show, right? My boy, he's annoying. He was like, he kept saying something, and he was like, "Well, as a lesbian, and I was like, dude, and my mom was watching, and I was like, bruh, I kept looking at him like, really? And I picked up like what he was doing, like, you know what I'm saying? My mom, she picked it up too. She was like, I ain't like that. I didn't like how he was doing that. And it's true. It's true. It's true. Like, your friends try to put you out there knowing that, it's just weird, weird shit people be doing. And but after the show, my mom called me like right after. I was still at my friend's house. And my mom called me, and I was like, damn. I was like, she probably gonna call me because we was using a lot of profanity where he was. And I was just like, and he was like, a son to her. So I was like, she probably about to tell us, y'all can stop all that cousin, watch your words. No, she didn't. She was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. And she was just like, I just, yeah, that part. And we had the conversation. She was just like, and bottom line, she was just like, I really wish you would have felt like you could talk to me earlier, a long time ago, you know. Um, and I was like, wow. Because I didn't grow up in a household that made me feel like we couldn't talk about nothing. We just, it just didn't really, I ain't learned about sex at the house. I learned about sex at school and sex ed, you know what I'm saying? And TV and all that other stuff, but so I definitely, yeah, I'll take that back. Yeah, I didn't feel like I could, have those conversations. Even though I did, like I said, I do have a gay family member, and I saw the way that they treated him, my family, my dad and my mom and stuff, like they didn't treat him any different. They didn't. They loved them, everything. It was always love. It was always, kindness and stuff. So I was just like, I did take note of that, and I was like, I might be good, but it's different. And I've learned it's different when it's your child. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that from friends who are cool with gay people, who are cool with gay people, or who were gay themselves on the low. Ooh wee. But their child, you were gay. Then it was an issue. And I used to be like, that is the weirdest double standard that I see. But again, I'm not a parent. And they were like, it's different when it's your child because you already know what they're going to go through. You already don't want your child going through hardships of life in general, but then you already know what this lifestyle brings. And I was like, okay, I understand that. I understood that. So it was just, from that aspect, but I didn't, I just didn't want to hear, what the Bible says, this and this and this and this. So it was just a different experience for me. But my mom was really cool. We had a conversation, and I remember, and I know I'm like jumping all over the place, but it all ties in because, like, as I talk about one thing, I remember where it stems from. So I remember at my church I was a member of in Houston. My pastor spoke over my life. He was like, "Can I pray for you?" And he spoke some stuff, and he was just like, God is going to use you in so many ways to help other people who are like you know, to be comfortable with who they are and to know that, God still loves them. Because honestly, it did take a long time for me to accept that God loved me or to believe that God still loved me, that God still cares for me, that God and I like I said, I'm a Christian. So I can only talk about God, that I'm loved and that God still favors me. And I started seeing that in my life, like, oh, you still favor me, you still love me, you still care for me, and things like that. And so with whoever, wherever you are, it's just like, especially if you're in church. I'm a church girl, especially in church. Regardless, if you've left a church, if you've left, anything, not even just a church, but if you've left, you know, spirituality or whatever. Because I tell people I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I really am. But it's just like if you left that because you felt like you weren't loved or you weren't cared, that's not true. I Promise you, man, it's not true. I promise you. My boy, he kills me. He could be like, honey, I'm gay and I love the Lord. And I've taken on that. That's my motto, baby. Honey, I'm gay and I love the Lord. And not only do I love the Lord, I know the Lord loves me. And it took me a while to get to that place. And that's why I am where I'm at. Like, yes, I still go to church. People are like, how do you still go to church? And it's because that's my connection with God. Yes, I have a connection with God outside of church. Don't get me wrong. But that's my roots. That's what I choose to do in my expression of my spirituality. Okay? That's what I choose to do. Just because you mad at the church and all that. And I have every right to be mad at the church. I do. I have, but it's not the church. It's these people in the church. And we're, as people, we know we're people. We're flawed. We are human beings. And a lot of times, and like back then, I dealt with a lot of unhealed ass adults because the therapy wasn't a thing back then. Oh, you going to see a shrink is what they called it. You must be, no. Now, all of them need therapy. All of them. Every last one of them need fucking therapy. Get some damn help, man. Dead ass. Like, get help because you ruined a lot of people's lives by being ignorant and unhealed and shit like that. But yeah, so my story, like I said, it was different, you know. So my parents, like my mom, like my pastor at that time, he prayed for me, and he was just like, you know, he was like, whenever you're ready, and this was years ago. This was like when I still lived in Houston. He was like, when you're ready, he was like, it's gonna bring you and your mother's relationship closer. We already had a close relationship, but I will say this: I was like, I always kind of, I didn't dread talking to my mom a lot, but I knew I love talking to my mom, but it was just like, dang, I hope this is not the conversation. She's gonna be like, well, Jewel, you know, I think you're this, and then I gotta be like, you know, I didn't. That was my anxiety, my overthinking, because it was never that. We had cool every time. We have good conversations every time. But when I did finally to have that conversation with my mom, when I was forced to rather, it brought us even closer. And that was when I'm 42. This was when I was like 38, 39. So this was recent. I went my whole life, and I hate that I didn't do it earlier. I hate I didn't do it earlier because I've gone through so much in my life emotionally, through relationships, that I was just like, a lot of times I want my mom. I need my mom. I need to talk to my mom because my mom is so wise. Her wisdom is amazing. And I was like, you know, I just need my mom, but I didn't feel like I could talk to her about that because it was just me. It wasn't that she didn't make me feel like I could, and they knew. So even when we talked, she was like, "Well, we kind of talk." Your dad said, "Well, just leave her alone." Like, and if you know my dad doesn't care. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? He cool. You know what I'm saying? He gonna love us regardless. Both of them, they gonna love us regardless. You know, and but they knew, and I just really, I do feel like I'll say this too. And this whole topic is basically to say this to people that are out there. Everybody knows somebody that's gay and lesbian. I only say those two, and I'm not disrespecting or, dismissing the rest of the clan, the group rather, the crew. Um, I'm saying gay and lesbian because we're everywhere. We take up so many spaces. We're in so many spaces more than the other, like bi and and all that other stuff. We're in more spaces than anybody else other than straight, right? So that means everybody knows you know somebody who's gay or straight. You know somebody. Regardless of what they choose to do with their life or who they choose to love. We're all human, I swear to you. And I'm not here to push no agenda that y'all talking about, quote unquote, an agenda. We're human. And that's all it is. if I'm at your job, if we work the same job and I'm on your team, guess what? We all got one common goal. It ain't to reach the gay goal quota for the day of we need to close this many cases um because because you're gay or as a gay, we got to close this many. No, it's we got to close this many cases by the end of the week as a team. Period. You got to do your part. You got to do your part. I got to do my part. It ain't got nothing to do with who I love. It ain't got shit to do with that. Nothing to do with that. We just ask that you, because a lot of people, this is crazy. I go by a lot of people. I don't know. You still? I'm not. I'm not still. I'm mass presenting, right? Um. So I know that there's a lot of terminology, a lot of things and that's why I said I'm not even bringing all that in there. I know it's a lot of terminology that a lot of people are like confused on because I'm confused on some stuff too. To be honest with you, I just be like, child, look, I tell people all the time, child, I'm just a regular lesbian, honey. That's it. I don't like nothing. I don't dabble in nothing else. I'm not, and I'm not knocking anybody else. I just prefer women that love women. I'm a woman that loves women. That's it. I don't go from men to women or women to men. I don't go from, no. If anything, go from women to single to being by my damn self. That's it. But I'm just saying, like, we're everywhere. We're in so many spaces. Either we're in your family, at your church, at your job, wherever you hang out at. We at the gym, we everywhere. And you cool. We cool people. I promise you we cool people. We don't like you like that. Please don't flatter yourself. Like something now there are some the younger generation, lesbians, child. I can't I just godly. Why I don't know why they so hell bent on dating straight women. Save yourself that drama. Child, don't do that. Mm-mm. It's gonna hurt your heart every time. Cause she gonna always be straight. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just a regular. People laugh when I say I'm just a regular lesbian, honey. That's it. That's it. But my boys, I have a lot of straight male guy friends, and they my boys, and I have a good time with them, and they be like all the time. Every last one of them be like, man, Jay, you cool as hell, man. Like you sister, but then like you the homie, like all in one, and I'm cool with you, man. You cool as hell. Like I'm just me. I'm cool. Shit. I'm a cool ass person. It ain't got nothing to do with my sexuality. It has nothing. I'm just a cool ass person. I could tell you, my homeboys, I could tell you, this is why I be telling women. Like you need, I'm your best mass presenting bestie. I'm your the one that you should have. Because if your husband or boyfriend is my friend, guess what? If I find out, y'all had some disagreement or misunderstanding, I'm telling him, like, because I understand women too. I'm on your side, dog. Girl, I'm on your side. Because I'm like, yo, nah, this is where you messed up at, bro. You can't say that to her like that. And they receive it from me because they looking at me as one of the homeboys anyway. They homeboys, my homeboys may tell them the same advice, and they be like, man, you tripping, dog. Man, I ain't listening to you, dog. But if I tell them, like, dog, you can't talk to her like that. What I say, man? Listen to say what you just said again. Dude, I wouldn't even talk to you know what I'm saying? I kick him. I wouldn't even talk to you. Man, you say some shit like that to me, I'm hanging up, bro. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? And they be like, oh damn, I ain't thinking. Or I'd be like, yo, think about think this is what she's thinking. This is where she's coming from. She might be coming from this way, like, girl, I got you. Like, it's that. So I just be like, yo, just and I know guys they have issues with gay men. Like I'm more received than amongst straight men than gay men, and I get that, and just vice versa. To be honest with you, but I'm also received by straight women too because I got a girly side that I love to bring out. Like I'm balanced. You know what I'm saying? Even with my femme friends, I can child. I'm gonna flick this invisible bang, honey. Yeah. And I'm gonna let you know I'm Becky with the good hair, honey. Balance. No, I'm dead ass. I'm just saying, like, this whole conversation is, I know it's all over the place. It's crazy because, like I said, this is a conversation I've tried to stay away from. I'm gonna have to get into it a little bit more in depth. This is a long episode or whatever. But yeah, I just really, 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 really want people to just know that, like, yo, regardless of who a person chooses to love, yo, look at how they treat people. Do they treat people kindly? Are they good people? Are they like seriously, are you good people? For real, because if you're not good people, I don't care. Like I know a lot of gays and lesbians I won't rock with because they're not good people. They're not good people. Or I don't like what they do. I don't like what they about. I don't rock with them. I'm cool. I know a lot of straight people that I'm really cool with. And a lot of straight people I'm like, I ain't cool with them. Not because they straight. No, they ain't got shit to do with it. It's because you are a sorry ass person. But it's crazy that I don't know. That's why I just say like parents, if you have children, and they're like, yo, this is where I'm at. Like, don't kick them out the house. Don't disown them. Don't like don't do that. Don't disconnect with them. That's still your child. That is still your child. It's no reflection of you of as a parent. It's not. It doesn't mean that you're not a good parent. And that's what I wanted my parents to know. I'm like, it's nothing y'all did. It's nothing y'all did. I promise you, it's nothing y'all did or said or didn't do. It's nothing like that. But I let parent. I want y'all to know it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just hey. People are, and it's more common. Everybody's like, well, it's an agenda. No, it's more common now because it's more prevalent now because people are more understanding. It was going on back then, and I should have came out because it was going on back then. But then, because the way the times were, even they had to stay low key and be cool. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that it wasn't prevalent as much as it is now. Then, oh yeah, it was very prevalent. Come on now. Come on now. But I'm just saying, like, everybody just treat people kindly. I will always say that. Like, you just never know who you're impacting. I want everybody out there, if you have a child, and I'm talking to you as a child of my parents, if you have a child that you like, I don't know, and they come to you and they say anything, you don't know, you may not know what to say. Still love them. You may not even agree with it because of whatever you believe or your background or what you worried about what other people say. Stop worrying about what other people say about what you do in your house. Dead ass. That's the dumbest shit I've ever. Like, why are we worried about what other people got to say? And they worried about your child saying, "Oh, I think I'm gay, or I like girls, or I like boys, or whatever, and of the same sex or whatever." And you worried about people that can't even pay their own bills, that's behind on their bills, trying to figure out how they gonna figure it out in their house. You worried about them? You worried about this woman who about what she gonna say, or her husband fucking around on her, or you know what I'm saying? Like, come, or he, please take care of your children, man. Love them, love them. Build that relationship of trust with them. Let them be able to talk to you. These kids need it. These kids need it. I want to work with, I do. I want to be a mentor, be a big brother. I mean, big brother. I want to join the big brother, big sister program because I'm like, I want to be a mentor to somebody, like, not to tell them, oh, be gay. No, be who you are. If you want to be an engineer, you can do this shit. I don't know shit about engineering, but we going to figure this shit out. Be who you are. If that's who you feel like if you have a passion for this, let's do this. I'm a musician. I have a passion for it. I'm a musician. I have a passion for talking to people. I'm going to talk to y'all as my whole self. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It's like I don't walk in a room like when I got my new job, I didn't show up to the interview like, hey, I didn't have all this rainbow shit. No, I had on a nice shirt and I talked to them. That's it. And they hired my gay ass. They saw who I was. They hired my gay ass and treat me, and they're so kind to me. So kind. When I show up on camera, the only shock that I see is that because my name is Julia. They expect to see a white girl. No, that's been my whole life. Every job I or interview I went on and had, I show up. I'm Julia Smith. Oh, you're Julia. Yeah, and I ain't no white girl. Child, tell them I'm here. So yes, when I show up on camera, they're like, hey, "Oh, hi, Julia," and I show up as me, and then they love me. It makes me, oh my God, I love your energy so much. Like I said, treat people with kindness. Do better by people. If you don't understand something, just say you don't understand some shit. But don't put bullshit on other people and cause them to miss out on a lot in life. I'm going to talk more about this. This has been long enough, but I'm going to really talk more about this on some upcoming episodes as I feel led to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But I had to talk about this today. I really did. And I really hope you guys got something out of it. Even if I'm not saying, I know a lot of my listeners are not of the community, and that's fine. And I love that. But we all need each other flat the fuck out. Ain't no other way around it. As we see, our president is doing the fool, and it's affecting every damn body. Yes, well, there's a lot of shit we're sitting out as black people, and we're sitting a lot of shit out. But we shouldn't. There still should be some kind of unity amongst all people, especially within the black community. If we all sitting this shit out, but then we still fighting in our community because I'm gay, I'm a lesbian, they're gay, or you don't like how I present. When I walk everywhere, I get called sir everywhere, and I get it, I get it, I get it. I'm handsome, shit. I don't, I get it, but don't mistreat me because you don't like the way I look, and then you want to fight with me. You don't want that. You don't want them kind of problems. Cause it's so stupid. Because we don't think about nothing. We don't think about y'all at all. The straights, we don't. We don't. We be like, girl, I ain't gonna lie. I feel sorry for a lot of straight people trying to date, especially straight women. I do. hmm And straight men, because I'm learning these women. Listen, I always tell y'all, we always say, quick to call a man dusty. Women are dusties too. Trust me. I know some dated one. Dusties. Women are dusties. They are. So I feel sorry for people. I don't think about straights like what they doing. No, I be like, damn, I feel sorry for them trying to date out here. Sucks. But yeah, so anyway, this is a different episode. Like I said, I'll talk about more things as they come up or whatever. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in and staying with me on this episode. Tell a friend again, share, like, comment, do all that stuff. We here. We here. We're gonna stay consistent with this. We're gonna keep having the conversations. And again, if there's something you want me to talk about, drop it in all of my contact information is in the description below. Just make sure you contact me if you want to talk about something. If you have input on something, I'll bring it up. Of course, I'm gonna keep it confidential. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put you out there like that, but we're gonna have the conversation. And I love it. I appreciate y'all, like, for real. I really love y'all. I really do. I love the feedback that I'm getting, excuse me, from people. I love the sweet notes that I'm getting from people. I love all of that. I love the realness that people, it's just I'm learning to open up more. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning to open up more and talk to y'all. This is good for me. This is just good for me. I love talking to you. I love having a conversation. So we're going to continue to be fearless, to continue to do this and have our perspectives of things and have the conversations that need to be had that people are afraid to have. You think the shit, I'ma say it. Cause who gonna check me, boo? That's what Sheree said, honey. Oh yeah, we definitely got I got a topic because I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, honey, and I got something to talk about because child. Yeah. So anyway, so just tune in. I appreciate y'all for always tuning in. I appreciate you for real, for real, from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And staying on this journey with me. So anyway, I'm gonna cut this short or cut this off right now. It's forever right now. But I thank y'all again for tuning in. Make sure y'all stay safe. Y'all love on somebody. Be kind. All right. And I hope life is being kind to y'all forever. I love y'all forever. Peace.